Evelyn Parker is an age-old tale in Cyberpunk of ambition being destroyed by Night City itself. You see, Evelyn Parker as a kid wanted to be an actress, but one way or another she found herself working at Clouds as a doll. Being a doll in Cyberpunk is actually one of the few jobs that has upward mobility. Evelyn had worked her way up through Clouds and become so notable and so good at her job as a doll that she would gain the attention of Yorinobu Arasaka.
I know him pretty well, actually.
Arasaka and the Tiger Claws also have a bit of history with each other. So as she becomes the consort of Yorinobu Arasaka, eventually it gains the attention of the Voodoo Boys. Now, why would the Voodoo Boys be interested in a doll? Yorinobu Arasaka is why. The Voodoo Boys want something that Yorinobu has, that being the relic. Now, of course, the relic is the center of the entire story in Cyberpunk 2077. The relic was also a lottery ticket for Evelyn. You see, the Voodoo Boys would contract her and they would ask her to create a brain dance of the inside of Yorinobu's penthouse apartment in Arasaka Tower.
Every single piece of tech I see, security.
We need a layout of the whole room. We will get everything else we need from their virtue.
What about his messages?
Only if you can do it in parfait belief. It's most important that he suspect nothing. Try to be your usual relaxed self.
And if he starts talking about the biochip himself, should I...
Biochip? Where you hear this? That is not of interest to you. You spin the virtue, you come back here, we give you the eddies. That is your one job. The rest is none of your concern. Understand?
Honestly, the job was really easy. And you don't really say no to the Voodoo Boys, because she would then overhear a conversation between Maman Brigitte and another Voodoo Boy.
Okay, Judy, we're good.
Alright, disconnected.
You see, Maman Brigitte would promise that they would have Silverhand's engram. Now she would know what the Voodoo Boys were after. She would know a pretty good braindance editor by the name of Judy. She's currently with the Mox and she now works at Lizzie's as their braindance editor. But she's still someone that Evelyn can trust.
V, this is important. Judy's always been there for me. Always helped out. I trust her. But she's a Mox, not the latest member of your crew. Try not to forget.
And in Night City, those come pretty few and far between. But now Evelyn had a bit of a dilemma on her hands. She had Yorinobu on one hand, which is the heir to the Arasaka Empire, and she had the Voodoo Boys on another, arguably the most dangerous gang in Night City. She would have to betray both of them. So Evelyn would devise a plan. First thing she would do is call Dexter Deshawn.
Yo, Mr. V, a pleasure.
Dexter Deshawn in the flesh. Ample indeed.
Let's roll.
At first, honestly, I thought that this couldn't have been a dumber choice for Evelyn. But the reason that this is actually a stroke of genius is she knows that Dex was actually just on the run. When you talk to Jackie in the beginning of the game, when he's telling you about Dex, you actually learn that Dex was a part of a huge gang war a couple of years past, and the Voodoo Boys were after him. It was only recently that he made his return in Back to the Afterlife. Evelyn also knew this, so she would contact Dex with a job that couldn't be refused. But Dex is the only person that wouldn't be able to refuse this job. What kind of comeback story would it be if not the biggest? He gets to steal from the heir of Arasaka. Dex would be a true legend if he were able to pull this off. Dex would accept the job and he would reach out his feelers to a little known T-Bug. They go back a while. T-Bug and Dex have a history.
Had the pleasure of meeting the Jackster in the past, and Sweet T-Bug helped this brother out 2 years ago.
T-Bug is the one that sets up Jackie and V to become the mercs that Dex uses for the job. Now, one of the jobs that Dex has here is to acquire the Flathead. Dex being one of the worst fixers in Night City, he does not properly acquire the Flathead. He says that he paid for the Flathead to Brick. I'm not sure how much I believe that.
Now, I flat out purchased the damn thing from Maelstrom. Problem is, I did so from a gent went by the name of Brick. I say when, because Brick was the leader. 3 days after we'd sealed our deal, his friend and gangmate, one Simon Randall, aka Royce, plain dropped his ass. Royce is in charge now, and I got no way of knowing if he aims to honor his predecessor's word. To add to this shipstrom, one Meredith Stout of Militech has developed an...
But regardless, he sends the mercs to the All Foods because they have to retrieve this Flathead. Because without the Flathead, there is no heist. So V and Jackie, who at this point are pretty new mercs, haven't even been to the afterlife yet, well, they have to get the Flathead. This puts them straight into the lion's den of a gang known for cyber psychos, Maelstrom. This is the most volatile gang you could possibly have to deal with. They're absolutely insane. Nonetheless, V and Jackie get the Flathead, one way or another. Regardless of if you got the Flathead first or if you decided to talk to Evelyn first, she says the same thing.
V, do this job for me. I mean me alone. No splitting the payout with anyone else. No middlemen. No Dex.
Most important of which, she mentions that you could just cut Dex out of this deal completely. So at this point, Evelyn wants to betray an Afterlife-affiliated fixer, Dexter Deshawn, the biggest corporation in the world in Arasaka, the Voodoo Boys, and the Tiger Claws. Once she steals this from Yorinobu, the Tiger Claws aren't exactly gonna look good since they're the ones that recommended her. These are 4 entities that you really don't want to cross. You have a choice as V. You can tell Dex Evelyn wants to cut him out of the deal, or you can leave that part to yourself. This is the dice that Evelyn's rolling for this job. And the question is, what is she doing this for? Evelyn wants to make the deal with Netwatch herself and likely leave Night City forever and leave everyone behind. You see, that's the thing here. The thing that really puts Evelyn in the hot seat is that it's almost as if she intended to leave everyone, including Judy. You know, leaving V, sure, she doesn't know V at all. Fleeing from Night City is actually the best thing for her in this situation because she's planning on betraying the Voodoo Boys. It's not exactly something that you can get away with. Well, of course, the heist goes horribly wrong. V calls Evelyn and asks what he's supposed to do. The biochip integrity is failing. Evelyn says to slot the shard. To slot the shard. It's at this moment that I realize Evelyn doesn't actually care about the merc. What she cares about is that biochip. So if the biochip doesn't make it, I'm not sure she would really care to see the merc anyway. And then all the way to the No-Tell Motel where you finally meet Dex. He tells you that he's gonna get you a ride, and you hear him on the phone clearly order 1 ticket for the ride. But he also asks if you have the biochip. It's all the way up until this point that you can still be loyal to Evelyn. You can say no. You don't have it. It's at this point that Dex betrays you, and then he's hunted down by Arasaka. So as far as Evelyn knows, you were probably hunted down too. But with that being said, half of the people that she was going to betray, she kind of gets off the hook for. Of course she gets off the hook for betraying Dex. And she kind of gets off the hook from Arasaka as well, since, well, Saboru kind of got neutralized. But Evelyn, she still doesn't feel safe, so she hides out for a couple of days, or weeks.
After the heist, Evelyn holed up with the Mox for a while, right?
That's right.
So why the hell she go back to Clouds?
Thought she'd be safer there. God knows why. Tried to get her to see straight, but she wouldn't listen.
And then eventually, she goes back to Clouds. But there was one group that Evelyn forgot that she betrayed. The Voodoo Boys. The Voodoo Boys were waiting for her to leave Lizzie's and go back to Clouds, because as soon as she hit Clouds, she got hit with the short circuit. You see, and the worst part about this is that the Voodoo Boys didn't even go get her. They left her there to be dealt with by Clouds management, aka Woodman. You see, the things that Woodman would do don't really even need to be specifically mentioned, but I think that you have a pretty good imagination. You could probably figure out what those things are. It was only after that he would then send her to a ripper doc, Fingers.
Instruction register on her chip was burnt to a crisp. Tried replacing it.
This is why you in the story find your way to Fingers, because of course you're looking for Evelyn Parker, so you're kind of retracing the steps of her body. It's not until talking to Fingers that you figure out Woodman gave her to Fingers and said, well, if you can't fix her, just keep her as payment. Fingers wasn't able to fix her doll chip because of course it got broken after the Voodoo Boys would short circuit her. And Fingers sold her to a scav den.
2 beavers from a BD studio took her.
And it wasn't until we got to this scav den that we saw what is also probably one of the worst fates that anyone in Night City could possibly face. They would record XBDs with people that were not willing to do so. Because of course in Night City, these sold the best. After going through literally an entire den of scavs, you find her, or what's left of her. And V and Judy are finally able to bring Evelyn home, or at least to Judy's house. And it was here that barely outside of a vegetative state, Evelyn decided that she couldn't do it anymore. Night City was just not the life for her, and we all know how that ended. And while Evelyn's story ended there, a new one would begin to reach its climax. It was time for someone to take revenge on Clouds.